This is the Titanium Kraken. There are there have been several kinds of Krakens that have existed. Here is an aluminum Kraken that I thought was a V3 and is probably actually a clone that I got scammed into buying. Oops. But the Kraken, as we know it, has been an aluminum Balisong for quite a while. And some other people have taken a crack at making a titanium version. Blocks, I know, has one. It's certainly very different feeling. It's quite larger, chunkier, and lot less surface area. So, in order to get the weight distribution right. So, while it feels somewhat like a Kraken, it's not quite a Kraken. It's a Blocks Kraken. And there have been other companies too that I don't know if I've actually tried theirs, but the aluminum Kraken, I believe we've kind of considered the gold standard of Balisong flipping for quite a hot minute. It's certainly different, I suppose, now how people view. People, I think, have kind of strayed away. But for a long time, the Kraken was kind of the Balisong. It sat around $220. A bit steep now by today's standards, but for what it is and what it was, it certainly stood up, and I think honestly still kind of stands to the test of time. While not really necessarily the most premium product for the price, especially, it's a good flipper and has a lot of different kind of. I think there's a lot to it. A little handle bias in my opinion, and the trainer now, I think they named the trainer originally to be more handle biased, but now they just officially include zippy inserts, which makes it match more the stock Kraken configuration for the live blade. This is the titanium Kraken made by Squid Industries, and the biggest difference is, of course, it's titanium opposed to aluminum. That's the whole point. Another thing is that they've actually milled out the surfaces instead of just being a groove, and it is sandwich instead of channel. With these changes, it actually manages to feel very convincingly like what we know of as the Kraken, and I honestly, I'm blown away by this. It is not cheap. It is $420.69. Yes, the meme number. Both the meme numbers. They did it. And it comes in a variety of blade shapes, just like Krakens as we know it. I particularly would love one in the Weehawk blade. And what's really nice is while different blades have different weight balances, so this being the Tanto, there's also the Bowie, and there's the Weehawk, and there are various other reblades. So many reblades. But what's nice is that you can assort these pins to whatever weight balance you want. Now, this isn't necessarily the most elegant weight solution. I have talked in depth about different weight solutions and spacers systems that you can basically change the weight configurations without having to disassemble the entire knife. Now, that said, not everything is going to have that luxury. Maybe Zippy has spacers. I haven't actually looked into it. And I gotta say, though, what we do have here is quite a number of spacers. There's at least, oh geez, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pins. And I gotta say that this is beautifully neutral. This is exactly how I would want a Kraken, and depending on the blade shapes, you can remove pins, add pins, adjust where they are located. I'm sure that there might be the ability to, yeah, there's definitely the ability to add 2 more pins, 3 more pins even actually. So you got 3 more pins to each side for a total of 13 pins, I think. It's kind of an odd number. But yeah, it does seem to be 13 pins. I think it's actually it's like the main barrel. There's the main spacer barrel, and then there's what seems to be 13 pins around that, so like 14 pins are arguably. You're gonna need at least one, but granted, if you take too many out, this is gonna be really, really blade bias. But this is just exactly what I want. It feels, it flips, I was gonna say tastes like the Kraken that we know and love, but better. It's titanium. It's compared to other titanium versions of the Kraken, this one feels sleek, slim. It has the same profile that we have come to acknowledge. It has a same weight distribution. It does not have any large bulky spots. It does not have any large holes with awkward thumb. There's just a bunch of big hole cutouts where your thumb doesn't really sit on anything. This is the Kraken. This is, in my opinion, the definitive Kraken. And yes, the aluminum Kraken is still good and dandy. And yes, I wish I had a real aluminum Kraken. Oopsie doopsie. I mean, this is fine. It's just disappointing to know that I got scammed. Anyways, donate to my coffee in order to help me support myself and, make up for the funds that I got ripped off out of, including Hugo. Fuck you, Hugo. But yeah, the surface texture does not exist on the titanium one. There's some aggressive surface texture, more aggressive as the versions went on. Sorry, the lighting in my room is bad because all the light bulbs keep breaking. And, well, not breaking, they're just dying. They're very weird light bulb that I've never seen before. I don't know. I'm not going to live here that much longer in the grand scheme of things. So, titanium version does not have any surface texturing, but it doesn't need it. It's titanium after all, which is a much grippier metal. Aluminum being so slippery, it was actually a bit slippery, not like terribly so, but the V2.5, I can imagine people slipping out of their hands. And the V3, having much more aggressive texturing, is a lot easier to hold on to. But the titanium version is, well, it's titanium, so you don't have to worry about it slipping out so much. I would say that any drops that you have is just kind of a skill factor and not like a, wow. The Antarctic, for example, the glider Antarctic, that thing is so hard to hold on to. But with such nice, deep, aggressive jimping that I think is better than the aluminum one, partially because it's sandwich. And, I mean, just honestly everything about it. The fact that it is a modular weight system, the fact that it's titanium, the fact that you can anodize this and make this beautiful, pretty colors, the fact that you can... I mean, this is just so comfortable. It's so much more customizable being sandwich, which I don't particularly have a strong preference for sandwich versus channel. I think whichever one is whatever the designer wants to do with whatever they had in mind suits. But it's got a nice sound bounce to it. It's certainly more hollow sounding than the original Kraken. And of course, it is sandwich. And then the sandwich version. But yeah, this is a really fucking nice Balisong. Now, it is, to be honest, still a Squid Industries Balisong, so don't expect it to be the most premium, especially the blade steel. This is a flipper, not necessarily as much of a cutter, and if you do want something that is more high-end, you can look into the Tsunami, which is like $700, opposed to $420.69. The stock Kraken, I believe, is like 4.2 or 4.3 ounces. This titanium Kraken with its current weight configuration, 4.16, so very close. And again, adding a handful more pins, 2 or 3 more pins in on each end is probably going to make it more match the handle bias if that is something that you prefer. And again, there are different blade shapes that you can customize and configure. But unlike Machine-Wise's former days where you could have a Marin platform builder, it seems that everyone is kind of moving towards the folding knife market. It's even Squid Industries has started to design their own folder, and I mean, I'm sure it's fine, but I'm not sure that it's going to necessarily make a dent in the market. It's hard to say. Squid's a little opaque in terms of how well they are doing as a business, which I think is probably for the better. They should not be telegraphing if they are struggling. They should not be telegraphing anything of the sort like that's really bad idea, especially for a company that big. So the writing is maybe on the wall in terms of Balisongs as we know it as a market, which is a shame because Squid is kind of, well, it's the place for people to get in. Well, now Bally's has been able to make their own niche in the market, which I think is really excellent. But I was hoping that one day we would be able to have a titanium or, a Kraken configurator. Squid being in California makes that very unlikely. They have to basically have their live blade sold through Blade HQ. The Tsunami is done in drops. This Kraken was picked up at Blade Show by Buffalo Dingus. Thank you so much, Buffalo Dingus, for lending me these knives. It's been far too fucking long. I've just been so busy being a professor, which is really cool, but also just meant that I really had to sideline this. And I've had a lot of videos queued up and just not had the time to edit them or, just do the basic things, thumbnails and all the tags and all that junk. But anyways, my dream is that I would be able to own a titanium Weehawk Kraken and get some beautiful anodization. I believe these are titanium hardware. It's all in this nice, beautiful blue, this cobalt blue, perhaps. I don't know, but the titanium Kraken is, I would say, one of the most quintessential flipping experiences. If you like the Kraken, if you've had any gripes with the Kraken, I don't know. If you had any gripes with the Kraken, I think the titanium Kraken fixes those. And if you like the Kraken, this is just the Kraken, but better. Unfortunately, it's just hard to get a hold of, and it's a bit pricey. Not insanely priced, considering that it's a titanium balisong, and most titanium balisongs are probably roughly around that price point. But like, the fact is that they're a live blade made by Squid Industries. Don't expect it necessarily to be super easy to get a hold of without having to go to a blade show. And I don't know. It's pretty penny. So we will see how things shake up. Will Squid Industries abandon balisongs altogether? Probably not. It is a balisong company first and foremost. But the knife folding market, I don't know. I feel like a lot of balisong makers trying to get into the folding knife market, it's not really going to work unless they can make something truly exceptional. And I don't honestly think that any of the makers, not to knock on them, but just the ability, like a folding knife has to be so stand out in order to catch the eyes of the folding knife market. And most of these balisong companies are not even on their radar. It's so funny because so many of the good folding knife companies, Spyderco, Benchmade, arguably Boker, a lot of these companies, and Kershaw, a lot of these companies have really good folding knives, but their balisongs are kind of comical. Benchmade being a company that made really good balisongs in the mid 2000s, but then just kind of didn't really keep up with the market. They don't know what makes a good balisong. The Necron is unfortunate proof of that. And yeah, there are some decent ones like the 87 that I like, but Benchmade, we know it for the balisong and the butterfly knife name back in the day, but it's not by today's standards any good. Spyderco being a really good knife company, there's I think at least one or maybe two balisongs, and they're very odd. They're very strange, and I've never had the opportunity to flip them, but there's certainly something, and they look a little weird. The only Boker balisong I flipped is the Yoda, which is a little EDC one. It's small, but I don't think any of their balisongs are worth paying attention to. Kershaw has really insanely heavy steel balisongs. They're just not very good flippers. They're solid knives, though. They're definitely knives. But yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any other, like, there's probably other ones that I'm thinking of that I can't recall currently. But a lot of these big companies, it's so funny because I have associated them with bad balisongs, but in actuality, they make really good knives. And I don't think that the opposite is going to make a really good. I don't think it's going to do well. I might make a whole designated video on this, but I'm getting off topic from the titanium Kraken. I just hope that Squid can sustain themselves and really make more of these, because I think this is a really good product. And I feel like maybe out of touch in a sense, not necessarily with the community or with the market in general, but just these past few months I've just been so busy. But like, I think this is really exceptional. I think they can make something of this. And I think it's hard. I feel like people think the market is shrinking. It's not necessarily shrinking. It's just the bubble popped. The industry ballooned like crazy. So we'll see. But that's my thoughts on the titanium Kraken. Thank you so much to Buffalo Dingus for lending this to me. I certainly hope that I can get my hands on a Ti Weehawk Kraken. And till next time, take care, everybody. Happy flipping. Check out the coffee and the donations. A little donation goes a long way. It's like a single Patreon donation without it being a monthly thing, and even a little bit will help me because some asshole screwed me out of $200. Hugo. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. Happy flipping, and take care, everybody.